A surprising leader sits atop the Grand Chess Tour standings. Find out who he is and how he got there. Of course, we take a look ahead to the strongest online chess matches in history. But now, before we learn why Michael Vick thinks that chess made him a better man. It's ChessCenter, the holy grail of chess shows. You chose wisely.
On August 23rd, Magnus Carlsen against Alexander Grischuk. They didn't have to play in the Sinquefield Cup, so they're a little bit rested. 10 a.m. Pacific, that's 7 p.m. in Western Europe, right here on Chess.com/TV for the semifinals of the Grandmaster Blitz Battle Series. And then the very next day, we do it all again with Hikaru Nakamura and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, also on Chess.com TV. There's going to be a couple previews of those matches. Go to the Chess.com homepage to read about what to expect.
How did learning the game of chess improve you as man and quarterback?
Just told me to think before I act. You know, I think some things you do, you do it off impulse. You don't care about the reaction at the time. You just go for it. The person I were before I went into Leavenworth didn't have a clue about what my life really meant to me. And it's dangerous when you're going about life when you don't have any direction.
Powerful words from a truly inspiring redemption story. Alexander, your thoughts on how chess helped Michael Vick turn things around?
Well, Danny, I think a lot of times when we hear about the lessons people learn from chess, we tend to focus more on critical thinking or on analytical skills, and I've definitely been guilty of this myself. So what I liked about this interview was how he talked a lot about the different kind of life skills he learned. So he talked about being more patient. He talked about learning about consequences and thinking about how even one move could have a huge ripple effect. And I think this shows that chess, even at a hobby level, it has such a big impact on people's life. And, you know, whatever level you're playing the game at, there's always something to take away from it.
Certainly an inspiring full video interview that we recommend everybody check out at ESPN.com. Certainly there were probably several moves in this game that were worthy of Move of the Week, Alexandra, but we wanted to show the critical position in the attack as the young Nicholas Cheka really brought the hammer down against the former Super GM Ilya Smirin. He wants to checkmate the black king on h7 here, but can't quite do it as long as that queen still guards the 7th rank. Tell everybody how he took care of that problem.
Yeah, he played bishop a6, a really sharp tactic, distracting the queen from the d7 square. After queen takes a6, he continued the attack with knight g5 check, at which black resigned because after king h8, rook takes g7, king takes g7, white finishes off the game with rook d7 check, and the checkmate is unstoppable.
No man more qualified to tell us exactly how Veselin Topalov handed Wesley So the Sinquefield Cup than Grandmaster Robert Hess, who was on site during the game.
Well, Danny, as our friendly lizard upstairs suggests, queen takes c5 is the only move to hold the balance, the key being the dark square bishop controls the squares around the king. Instead, Veselin Topalov went rook e5, which allowed white to play the move pawn to b4, cementing the pawn structure on the queen side and giving white a protected passed pawn.
Yeah, and that protected passed pawn is exactly what ends up winning this game, as you can see it being highlighted on c5. All it took white was a few more moves, and you'll see the evaluation of the lizard growing. The simplifying game was on for white. The knight comes to d5, dominating the center, and then that pawn pushes to c6. We're not going to bore you with the final Russian technique details. Let's just know that Wesley So took this one home and now sits atop the Grand Chess Tour standings.
Grandmaster Wesley So is having his moment in the sun. Clear first place with 5.5 out of 9. No losses on his scorecard, including that key win in round 6 against Topalov, which propelled him to victory. You already saw that game previously in ChessCenter. He also now leads the Grand Chess Tour with 30 points going into the final event in London in December. In fact, Danny, only 2 men could catch him. Levon Aronian and Hikaru Nakamura are the only ones left that could overtake Wesley for first. And I've done the math. If Wesley finishes at least 6th place in London, the Grand Chess Tour is all his.
Can't wait till we jump across the pond to England, but I do understand in St. Louis the chess wasn't over after the 9th round.
That's right. All 10 players got together with Kasparov. with Sarawon, with the two Sinquefields. They had a bit of a team match where they played 5 moves and got up. Team Rex defended his title, this time, though, in overtime. There was some shenanigans, as always, including Kasparov sitting at the board and pointing and hovering at his opponent to try to intimidate. But it was all in good fun. Team Rex, hey, he put his money on the tournament. He might as well win the fun event, too.
Always fun to see Kasparov have a sense of humor about his over-the-board antics.
Hello, Chess.com, and welcome back to The Real McCoy. Get out your books, get out your calculators, because this week we're going to school. And I'm not talking about the hallowed halls of Chess.com University or even the dubiously accredited Hogwarts. Rather, I'm going to talk to you about a public school near you. Now, recently on Chess.com, we covered a survey which did not show an increase of mathematical performance based on chess classes, but the majority of studies on offer do show an increase of academic performance of some sort. A lot of times this is explained with ideas like, oh, chess helps strategic and analytical thinking, it helps decision making, and that may be all true, but what I want to talk about in this video is how chess models learning behavior. If you think about it, you're about as likely to use a differential calculus equation as you are to see Topalov and Kramnik share a bromantic milkshake together. But that's not really the point of learning differential calculus. What you want someone to do, what you want a student to be able to do, is to go out into the world, to get information from a book or from a beautiful website, and then apply it. And this is exactly what happens when a child learns chess. They go out into the world, they get their book, they go to chess.com, they watch their video, and then they come and they use it in a game. And if you think about it, it's probably going to be easier to motivate a child to play a chess game than, say, get them to really pour themselves into a test on 16th century architectural improvements. Well, this has been The Real McCoy. I appreciate you, and class dismissed.
The strongest online chess matches in history are going down on August 23rd and 24th on Chess.com TV. Robert, let's look into that crystal ball and try to make some predictions. You're up first. Magnus Carlsen versus Sasha Grischuk. Who you got and why?
Well, Danny, when we talk about the game of chess, it's hard not to vote for Magnus Carlsen. As the Chess.com voters showed, he's a 65% favorite to win the entire GM Blitz Battle Championship. He absolutely obliterated Tigran Petrosian 21-4 in their quarterfinal matchup. He won the Leuven segment of the Grand Chess Tour, and he is Magnus Carlsen, so I'm going to have to vote for the Norwegian.
You know, I think 65% is a little bit extreme, though, especially when you consider that Sasha Grischuk beat Magnus Carlsen at the Berlin World Blitz Championship, as this video with commentary shows, and beat Carlsen in an online tournament held on ICC just a few months ago. So, though I agree Carlsen's the favorite, I'm going to stick by my pick for Grischuk to pull the upset. Let's move on to Hikaru Nakamura versus Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Who do you have in the American versus Frenchman battle?
Well, I'm a patriotic person, so I'm going to have to go with Hikaru Nakamura, one of the most feared blitz and bullet players of all time. He crushed Pantalahari Krishna in their quarterfinal matchup. He won the Paris segment of the Grand Chess Tour, and as MVL told me, he'll need a +2 or +3 score heading into bullet just to stick with Hikaru Nakamura.
You make good points, but you know what? As Mugato said, MVL is so hot right now. And I'm going to have to say that I think Maxime is going to keep this match a little closer than people think. If he can win a couple of the 960 games and maybe, as you said, roll into the bullet portion with only just a small lead, maybe getting outplayed by Hikaru in the fastest segment won't tell the tale when all is said and done. Either way, we're all going to find out what's going to happen as we cover these events live. Make sure you check it out. They start at 10 a.m. Pacific time, August 23rd and 24th, Chess.com TV. Be there or be square. Robert and I will have the call. TikTok, Mike may be afraid of the big bad clock, but he keeps coming back for time trouble anyway. Mike, are you ready?
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
The world's fastest man, Usain Bolt, was captured in this picture using a chess set to play checkers. Mike, your thoughts?
Here's what I want to know. Could he actually last for 9.5 seconds against Magnus in real chess? Be fun to find out. Check out this photo from Chess NYC, meant to recreate the Michael Phelps death stare from the Olympics. What'd you think?
That kid's watching a little too much NBC primetime. That resemblance is scary. Speaking of frightening, Poland just won another World Chess puzzle-solving competition. Mike, you're an oddball stats guy. Give the viewers some perspective on this victory.
They love their helpmates up there. It's Poland's 8th straight title. They've got a little ways to go, though, to beat the Soviet Union's record of a dozen Olympiad titles from the 50s to the 70s. This Alina Lamy tweet captures a bunch of people playing chess at the Turkish-Syrian border. What do you think of that news?
Nice to see someone capturing an amazingly peaceful moment there in that region, and the sunset is about as well timed as the fact that Syria is sending a chess team, both men and women's, to the Chess Olympiad in Baku. Speaking of good news, Jeffrey Zhang keeps rolling on as he is now dominating the World Juniors just as he just won the U.S. Junior Championship. Mike, what do you think about this?
Well, he's in clear first after 9 rounds. They make the juniors play 13, though. We will see if he's able to finish it off. He's been as hot as MVL has been on the professional circuit. Lastly, Danny, some trivia for you. 4 out of the 5 highest-rated players in the world born in the 2000s are from what country?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of?
Powerful words from a man who, what is he? Alexander, your thoughts on how chess led and contributed to Michael Vick's redemption?
Yeah, that was very...
He won the Paris leg of the Grand Chess Tour, and it's just hard when your name is Hikaru Nakamura to see someone,
You had it.
So stupid.
You know, I picked Hikaru Nakamura to start the entire tournament to win the whole thing, so I'm also going to stick with that. But that's going to go before... That was such a good take.
As you're happy, Alexander Grischuk isn't such a big underdog.
'Cause he's Russian.
I recorded all of this.